Hi everybody. We're being quiet until we close the door because there's a tour on. Oh my, why would you do that?
I just thought it was more fun.
Oh my gosh.
Make a bit of noise.
What?
Okay. Now Julie has brought me into the West Room to tell me about her project, about which I know nothing.
It's
literally, well, I know something about wallpaper, something about... That's about it, actually. Yeah, I don't really know anything else.
Do you even know how much fundraising for it?
No, I have no idea about that. The great worry with Julie's projects is always that she goes off a long way down the road and she hasn't brought me with her, and then I have strong opinions, and that is the worry today, isn't it? That you're going to tell me stuff and I'm not going to like it. Hopefully.
So maybe I just shouldn't tell him. Should I just stop the video right now and not tell you, and I'll surprise you?
Yeah, we'll just. No, I think I need to know.
I do. Okay. So
start at the beginning. Give me some context.
I'm going to paint the picture, and so everybody who's watching this for the first time as well, just so you know where we're at. So this is a room in the house that needs some love. And out of all of the rooms in the house that the public goes through, you know, they're all decorated beautifully. They've got lovely furniture. You know, I was able to paint the library, but this room, I want to make something special. Hear me out. That is because many of you know that I travel around, I have for the past years traveled around the UK visiting other historic houses. And in many of those houses, I arrive and they're like, oh, this is my great-great-grandmother's room, Lady so-and-so, or Duchess so-and-so, or Countess so-and-so, and this wallpaper is hand-painted silk, and it's been here for 200 years. I want one of those rooms.
So basically what you're saying is you want to keep up with the Joneses. There are other people that you've met who have done up rooms and named them after ancestors
because
of
it was
theirs.
their ancestors' room.
Exactly. And then they've put their mark on it, and you want to put your mark on this room. I get it.
No, the ancestor from 200 years put their mark on it, and they didn't touch it.
But you're not 200 years old.
No, so that in 200 years from now, our great-great-grandchildren will walk in and say, this is my great-great-grandmother's room.
But in order to do that, you'd have to live in the room. Are you going to move here?
Okay. It's not even about, sometimes you live in the room, but this is the room that everybody knows that I use this room a lot. This is where all my textiles are. In fact, out of all the rooms in the house that are open to the public, this is the room I use the most. I'm in here all the time.
This is a room that we thought of renovating as part of the bigger project. But when we did that and we converted the bedrooms, we knew that we needed bathrooms, because for some reason these days people need bathrooms. I don't really understand that. But anyway, that's what they tell me. And the only way to get a bath into here was actually going to be to put it in the room, because there's no adjacent space. And then the idea was over here that this closet,
which is now my textile closet,
would be what you call a water closet.
WC.
Which is where the term comes from, because what they did originally was to convert closets into places with water so that people could take their ablutions and do whatever they needed to do. And of course, this does have enough space for a WC.
It does, but we don't have the right piping.
We don't have the right piping. We could conceivably get it here, but let's not talk about that now, because it's obviously not in your plan.
It's not in my plan.
Judging by the look on your face.
Well, it's not in my plan because there is another big loo across the hall, and you know.
Yeah. What about a freestanding bath?
I liked that. I did like that idea.
Yeah.
I did, but no, it's not going to happen. Okay.
All right.
So
anyway, this is your project.
This is my project.
I'm going to just be quiet.
Thank you. So let's start at the beginning of what this project is. First and foremost, I want it to be really, really special. Have hand-painted silk wallpaper.
Oh God, there's a bee.
Okay.
There's a bee sort of on its way somewhere. I don't know whether I should let it climb on my feet.
Just leave it.
But I feel bad. There's a clothes moth.
It doesn't matter.
Munching the carpet.
What? Don't say that. I've got textiles in here.
I know. Well, that is a problem.
So hear me out, because I know what you're thinking, because I know you so well. You're thinking, how much is this going to cost? That is what you have.
No. I can't possibly think that, because I have no idea what you're planning to do. So I mean,
hand-painted
hopefully
silk
you're
wallpaper.
just talking about coming in here yourself with a bucket of paint and a roller.
That's what I did in the library.
And that will cost about £250.
What we want to do here, and by the way, this is Malcolm approval, and did you know he is on a tour? Malcolm is here today. I don't know why I'm talking quietly, because they've just come up the stairs, and he's brought a friend of his, and they're coming on a tour, and I'm going to have lunch with them afterwards. But point is that here we want to bring in hand-painted silk wallpaper. we're going to take down the curtains and put in silk, some type of silk damask blind. And then we're going to obviously cover that pipe there, get rid of these 19th century Victorian paintings of the 8th Earl of Sandwich and his stepmother Blanche, and put some other pictures up. And then we're going to keep that Meissen cabinet there, but we'll take down the curtains and we will put damask, and then we'll put some different furniture in. Now, before you say anything, now you're probably thinking, how much is it going to cost?
No, because you haven't quite told me any more of the detail. I think I need to know more about the wallpaper and what that's going to look like. And what else are you planning to do? So new curtains.
Well, we're going to do blinds.
I mean, I do immediately have some thoughts, but I'm quite scared to articulate them because they might not go down very well.
And we're going to reupholster this
Duchesse Brisée, which is a broken duchess, is what it is in English, Duchesse Brisée. And the reason it's a broken duchess is because the poor old duchess would sit on this bit.
Careful.
But then there was a break because these parts were not connected. And that is why it is brisé.
Interesting.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that, but you're very good at French. I'm good at Italian. Yeah. So you see it needs a lot of work here. So what we're doing to fund it is we are creating, I brought a prop for you. We are creating 90 by 90 centimeter silk scarves that will be produced in Italy using Rory Hutton, one of the UK's
wonderful Rory.
One of the UK's top textile designers, and he's taking motifs from Mapperton that kind of, well, that do really represent not only the interiors of Mapperton, but a lot of the restoration projects that that many of you have been involved in. So for example, the 18th century lead eagles, the 18th century peacock tapestry, which will stay in this room. Alberta in particular, her dress, an element from her House of Worth dress. Of course, that huge discovery.
The scarf basically has a series of motifs that tell a story and link it all to Mapperton. And if enough people buy enough scarves,
I can do this
then
project.
You can convert the scarf income into super expensive silk wallpaper. Is that right? That's essentially it.
Yes.
And so I get that, because whilst it may seem extravagant to have very expensive wallpaper anywhere really, this is a real opportunity to do something rather wonderful that is essentially a work of art. You're taking a room and you're converting it into something that makes a statement about your time here and things that matter to you. But at the same time becomes a wonderful place for people to come and admire not only what you've done, but in particular the wallpaper. So that sort of justifies the expense. So fine. Well, I still don't know what the numbers are, but I've got some design questions. And do you think we might grab Malcolm off his tour? Because I'm worried about bringing them up without Malcolm here to
what?
Defend you.
Does he need to diffuse?
He might do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
Let's see if we can get him.
Okay. He's in the great chamber. Hi. I'm going to pinch Malcolm. Where is Malcolm? Hi. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much.
I'll be back.
Hello, Malcolm. How are you? Come on, we can say hi.
How you doing?
How are you? It's a bit hot and sweaty to do a man hug.
A bit steamy today.
Should we get Malcolm mic'd up?
Now I can see something, which is that Malcolm, on the tour, you have clearly been head boy, haven't you? Because you've been given a special badge. And it says, I am a Mapperton champion. He's got a cup.
What did you do?
I got a question right.
I didn't even know that existed. What?
I was asked there was a question to the room. What Catherine of Braganza was offered when she arrived in Britain and came off the boat feeling sick? And the answer was a pint of beer.
I didn't.
Which made her even more sick.
I didn't even know that.
Well, there you go. You should go on the house tour.
You would not be getting the badge.
I would have gotten. I was going to say a cup of tea.
Now, Malcolm is here because Julie is explaining to me, Malcolm, for the first time,
Yes. The scheme.
scheme here, and I'm totally supportive and enthusiastic.
Is there a but coming?
I know.
But I do have some questions.
Yes, fire
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
What would you
So-
like to know?
So, well, I was just saying that the importance of this room, and being serious for a moment,
Yes, absolutely.
well, bizarrely, it's one of the most important rooms in the house. It's
yes.
part of the Tudor house.
Exactly.
It's got this extraordinary overmantel and fireplace. But it's a real sort of eclectic mix of things here. But it's anchored really in the Tudor fireplace and overmantel.
Well, yes.
You could
Yes,
argue, could be argued.
Yes, exactly.
And at the moment it's got this Tudor bed.
Yes.
So my question is,
Yes.
God, I'm quite nervous asking
Yes.
Malcolm things like this because
Be afraid.
this is his.
Be very afraid.
How are we going to reflect the Tudor history of the room in the design that we're coming up with?
Well, that's a good question because there are several different factors. Because not only do we have Tudor
Yeah.
on this wall
Yeah,
and this wall, but we have Georgian on this wall and this wall.
it's true.
So
It's true.
the other
But-
complication
yeah.
is that you have a very eclectic mix of furniture. And
Agreed.
as we know, there are other pieces of furniture that will be coming into the house
Yeah,
that we need to consider
yeah,
where they go.
yeah.
The only piece of Tudor furniture in this room is the bed.
Okay, so sitting behind that question, I guess, was another question, which is to what extent do you think in a house like this, it's okay to have a kind of eclectic approach?
I think you have to have an eclectic approach
Yeah,
just because of the pieces of furniture that a family like yours has acquired over the years,
yes,
that it does become a mix of furniture and you can't necessarily make a room exclusively Georgian, exclusively
well, we
Tudor.
could, but we would probably have too much in one place and too little
Absolutely,
in
yes,
another.
exactly.
But does it sort of raise your design hackles to think that actually there are these different competing styles, or do you quite like that? And
I quite like that. It's a challenge.
And want to kind of
That
embrace
you
it.
have, well, you sort of do have to embrace it and think, cripes, we've got this, we've got that. How do we marry them?
Yeah.
So you then have to think about the ways that you do that. Is it by choosing a particular colour for the wall, or how you then deal with window treatments and things like that?
So here's the $1 million question then, which is all this has been leading to, because it seems to me we're about to raise some funds for the wallpaper,
Yes.
which is really going to be one of the absolute standout design features of the room.
Well, that's what we're hoping for.
That's what we're hoping.
Yes.
So how is the wallpaper itself going to bring it all together? Because if you went too far in a Georgian direction, or too far in a Tudor direction, or something else, maybe it wouldn't kind of work.
No, I think it will work, because I think if you sort of look at other historic houses, quite often they use like a silk painted wallpaper. It's quite a historic.
Is it going to
use.
have design elements
Yes.
on
Yes.
it? So this is where I just
we're
don't know.
Yes.
We're probably looking at probably a chinoiserie type of thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is sort of, would be
Chinoiserie is kind of a safe
Yes,
bet, isn't it?
it is.
But,
And you
but
know,
there
for,
isn't
so
much,
for
much
example,
other chinoiserie in here, though.
well,
so
there are little pieces. So, for example, if we look at the sort of the
That's true.
little bookcases
Bookcase
on the
over
side
there,
there,
yeah.
some of the detailing on the chairs that we have here has
Yes,
a slight
it's sort of
chinoiserie
slightly
style.
matching that as
There
well.
are other pieces in the house.
I mean, these chairs, by the way, are randomly here, so they were not sort of put here.
No,
No,
we're
no,
not
no.
wedded to them being here.
No.
But there are other pieces in the house that, have
that we could
details
bring
we can
in.
sort of.
Yeah. So there sounds
Pull
like
in.
the secret to merging the Tudor and the Georgian
Is Malcolm.
periods is to go is to go Chinese
No pressure.
with Malcolm's help.
Yeah.
Yeah. I rather like that.
Right.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm good, and you anyway. This is really good. I just learned a lot. Wow. I hope you did it as well. I mean, I love you just put it beautifully, Malcolm. Like merging sort of the different eras. And I spoke to Luke about the scarf. One thing I do want to bring up about the scarf is, of course, Rory's will be creating some motifs. He's already created the peacock motif. He's probably going to be using a Tudor head because that will represent the West Room. But did you know, Luke, that I went to Rory's and I was like, I need to put something on that scarf that represents me. And I was thinking, oh, is it an American flag? And I was like, no, can't do that. And everybody, since the pool went viral and we started our channel 5 years ago, I did my own lino cut of my very famous cap. And this is going to be a motif. It's going to be a very small motif. Look at him. He's looking in horror.
No, I'm not looking in horror. I'm just looking in amazement. I'm wondering why I don't have one too. Because if Julie's going to be on there in her bathing cap, it seems to me that I should have one as well.
That brings me to this good point, everybody. We are, of course, raising funds for this very, very special room. Do check out the description down below. Get yourself on the wait list. You can join the wait list, description down below. This will be a limited run. So what that means is once they're gone, they're literally gone. So get yourself on the wait list and we will be putting these out for pre-order sales very, very soon. So be sure to get on the wait list. Phew. So with Luke approving the West Room renovation, I'm heading up north to visit Rory Hutton, textile designer. Okay, it's super early in the morning. I'm traveling through London, Victoria Station here, heading, I think, up north to visit Rory Hutton, and look at some of the lino designs he's done for the silk scarf, which is going to be beautiful. And of course, those silk scarves will be sold to help restore the West Room, my biggest project yet at Mapperton. And I am going to be doing a lino cut myself. It's a special surprise motif on the scarf. And I just can't wait. This is like beyond exciting. All right, guys, this is my stop. And obviously, I'm really excited about it. So stick along because you are going to see Rory's designs based on the motifs at Mapperton, but also one of mine, which is the surprise motif. I'm kind of like shaking because I think I have to draw and then I have to cut. But fingers crossed. This is my surprise guest today on the channel. Look at you wearing your gorgeous, I know that's the Italianate scarf, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Italian Gardens, thought that was very you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna head to Rory's studio right now, which I'm so excited. Such an easy train ride.
Yeah.
From King's Cross. I got a nice coffee this morning. It's great.
Easy morning for you.
So while I was on the train also, everybody, I was sending Rory like so many photos of like, I think we need to have this motif and this motif. So a lot of the motifs you guys are gonna see are from many of the restoration projects that so many of you have been helping with over the past several years. They are, because you're a part of this story as the wind is flying in my face. You're a part of this story and we want you to be a part of this scarf.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then I'm going to be, are you nervous for me to make the surprise motif?
A little bit. I'm not used to teaching people, so hopefully you won't cut yourself. But
exactly.
We should be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're going to head to studios now, so we'll see you guys there. Here we go.
Well, here we are.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, Rory. This place, your flat is insane. It's gorgeous. It's okay. Tell me a little bit about, this is gorgeous. I want this. Tell me a little bit about what's in this room.
Well, I suppose it's sort of a scrapbook of all my ideas. And yeah, I go to auctions all the time and attic sales. So I have these chairs are from the Holcombe Hall attic sale, which was last year.
Oh my gosh, I remember that sale.
So this house was built in 1801, and this cabinet is signed on the back 1799. So I felt like this was a piece of furniture that could have been here since the first owner. I bought this lady last week. I was in Arezzo in Italy. I know you love going to Italy.
I love it going to Italy.
This wonderful.
Oh, she's
an
gorgeous.
Italian noblewoman. So she.
Oh, and now you're just going to find a frame and put her somewhere.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm hoping to buy a place in Italy, much like you can.
Oh,
so I thought I'll bring her back to Italy, and she
Yes.
can sort of preside over my my salon.
So Rory's going to teach me, everybody, how to lino cut something special, the surprise motif. And then we're also going to look at the motifs that you've already drawn. He's cutting it out, everybody. The peacock. Okay.
You can make as much
No,
noise
I
as
know,
you
but
like.
I don't want to disturb you.
So far with this, I'm actually going to finish this one because then when we print it, we'll get it won't already be inked up, so it'll look
right, yeah,
a bit
yeah.
better than. Yeah. Okay. So I've sort of got him roughly where. Is it a lady peacock or a gentleman? Oh, it is. It's a man. Of course it is.
Man. Yep.
So I've sort of got him where I want him roughly. So just a little bit more, just to get a bit more of that background noise.
Okay, so what are we doing next?
Okay, so I'll tidy up some of these pieces here so that we have a bit of space.
Yes.
And
Great.
then,
Get some of this bits away.
yeah, so we don't want them going in the paint. So
Yeah.
usually I would, just
Yeah,
do
just
that.
a nice little
And
white.
just put them on the floor.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
absolutely. Oh no, my all
Okay.
of the
Okay,
floorboards
good.
have lino bits between them. So I'm going to use the back of a spoon.
Okay.
And this is what I think a lot of. I thought this was really amateur, but then a gallerist told me that Frank Aubach used to make his prints
Right.
this way, the back of a spoon.
Okay, that's
so I thought,
great.
well, if it's good enough for him.
Yes, exactly.
Also, I like doing this because if you use a press, you get a very even finish. So you've got lots of missing bits, but again, it gives it that
It does.
very
It's
handmade,
pretty.
and it'll translate onto a scarf as quite. It'll look really.
Oh, it's so
handmade.
pretty.
But why don't we try another one, and then you try one,
Okay.
and yours will have a different personality again, because again the pressure
Okay.
will be in different places.
Okay.
So-
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Don't,
God. This...
so
Oh,
don't
that's terrible. Ooh.
just pull it straight, and don't worry about following the line of the peacock.
Okay.
I think
Oh,
do
okay.
it
I
maybe
can
a
see
little
where I
bit more
messed
on-
up. This
a
is
little
not
bit
gonna
more
go.
on the head.
I know.
No, it'll come out nice.
Yeah, but look at I've gotten into the grooves there.
That's okay.
So
It doesn't always pick it up.
Oh my God, I
think,
understand
so
now.
with the, So.
What I thought would be really important is just to have a little bit of my mark on there. And I was thinking at first, like, okay, do I bring in something American? But then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, you know, I am American, and you know, things like, for example, the Montague tiara, I wore that on my wedding day, and also that's kind of the motif that we use for American Countess, my other YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what do people know me for? And it's really the swim cap.
So, a tiara or a swim cap? You're known for the swim cap.
It's so true. It's so
That's
true.
probably a first for a countess as well.
It is, and it absolutely is. I'm happy to hold on to that title. I'm
That
really proud
distinction.
of it.
Plumper.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have a go at mine and see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this is your
Okay.
Your
Okay. Here we go.
spot.
Okay. You're gonna hold this
Okay.
camera, and we can just get rid of that, and then you can just hold.
hold it quite firmly.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
So how does it feel?
It feels good.
Is it how you
And
expected?
I see. Like I'm gonna turn it. Here we go.
Yeah.
This part is really.
That's fine because we're getting rid of all of the background anyway.
Okay.
So it's absolutely fine.
I'm just gonna. It's fine, everybody. I'm just gonna have Rory speed it up a bit. But I did it. I really
You
enjoyed
did,
that.
yes.
Here's this design, everybody, on the lino.
No, probably not. I think it should be fine. Yes. Just pull it down
Ready?
swiftly. Yeah. Lovely.
Oh my gosh, I did it!
Perfect. Now
I'm
do it
happy
again.
with that.
Lovely. And again.
Which way?
Well, pull it towards you. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. And I think, yeah, we'll just.
Yeah, love that.
Okay.
Okay, love that.
It
That is the. Oh my gosh! It actually looks like my swim cap. Oh, look it! I drew that.
really does.
It really does. Oh, I need to take a photo of this when we're done. This is fantastic. Okay, I am on to my next destination. You can hear music. I'm in St. Pancras International, and I'm heading to Malcolm's right now, but I needed to get from Rory's to Malcolm's and go through here. And it's very, very lively. I'm at Malcolm's office. Look at this view, incredible. But I'm just gonna show you, like, I just walked up all of these stairs. Every time I come here, I mean, you can't even see all the stairs. There's that many stairs, but you can see how high up I am. Ta-da. Let's turn the camera around. I'm excited for him to show me what he's done with sort of the planning out strategy for the West room. Here we go. So what have you done?
Nice and cozy. So I've drawn up the plan from all the measurements that I took. So this is the West room coming in through the door here from the landing.
Yes.
This is the big mullioned window.
Yeah, I'll take the camera now. Yeah.
The wall, the fireplace here, that's the hearth. And then the two windows that look out over onto the croquet lawn.
Yep, the Georgian
there.
sash windows,
Yeah.
everybody.
And then this is the big sort of reveal where the bed sits.
That's where the Tudor bed is now.
Yes. So this will probably be one of the beds that is coming back into the house. I
Exactly.
suspect. Purely because I don't think it worked. The Tudor bed that's there currently doesn't really work with the other furniture that we have in this room. And I can't think of other places in the house to put this furniture.
Yeah.
So that's,
that would...
that's a possible chair there. So we've got the Duchesse Brisée, the bed. Then what I've also done here...
Yeah, what is that? That's not that chest, is it?
No, it's not that chest, no. What I've done is I've suggested an upholstered stool because I think that will anchor the end of the bed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I love that word anchor.
Yeah. And then the sort of Chippendale style chairs. I've done a pair in the window. We've got the cabinet with all the mice in here. And then there's that little desk there at the moment. But I think there's another one coming which might be in better condition.
Oh.
So
Okay, great.
that could go there.
Okay.
So that's
so
that.
good. So that, I think that's, listen, we're going to work with furniture that we already have, but it looks like we might get an upholstered chair as part of this fundraiser, if funds allow. Obviously, we need to reupholster the Duchesse Brisée with silk damask. I think that's what we want to go for. I mean, we'll have
Something
to look.
like
something
that.
like that.
Something in that line.
And as far as like the blind, so can you...
Yes. So as I explained when we were on site the other day, the cabinet that sits between the two windows
that has the mice in it.
It fits between the architraves, but
But
the curtains sort of go past that, and the curtains are sort of so squashed up that they don't hang properly.
No.
So what I'm suggesting is that we get rid of the curtains altogether.
Yes.
And just so that it reveals the architecture of the room.
Yeah, it does. It's so nice. And it reveals the sash windows more and sort of the paneling.
And then we can do some form of blind treatment there. It could be a festoon blind, it could be a sort of a pull down blind, Holland blind.
Okay.
So we have options.
Look at this room. By the way, I'm going to show you guys this. Look at this. This is how long Malcolm and I have been working together. Mapperton ground floor, Mapperton first floor, Mapperton second floor A, Mapperton second floor B. Presumably those are the two wings, if you like, the two attic spaces.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when I was with Rory, we were discussing about the color scheme for, because we'll have to make some decisions quite soon, the color scheme for the room, and that what do you think of this idea if all of a sudden once we print the scarves based on the colors that we're going to use in the West room, we use those and then we frame it somewhere in the room, the scarf.
That would make a very nice connection.
Don't you think so?
Yeah, that would be
I know.
But you see the way that's done?
Yeah, I remember that room. This is all their Chippendale furniture there, by the way.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It's so lovely. And this, do you know that this, I digress. You know that this piece of furniture we just filmed about, like, it is worth more than basically the house itself. That's how extraordinary. This is Thomas Chippendale. Anyway, I digress, but yes.
So maybe something along those lines, maybe something less fussy. I don't know.
Okay.
But you see how it sort of opened up the window, and the way that the sort of chair sits in the reveal is quite elegant.
It is really elegant. And be sure to check out the link down below to make sure that you're on that wait list.
So, like, subscribe, what's the other thing?
Turn notifications on.
Turn notifications on. And thank you, as always, to our patrons who have been hugely supportive of all the things that we do here at Mapperton.